Hey, it's Devin, and this is the Youngbloods. What is going on, everybody? Hope everybody is having a wonderful day. They're doing all the things that they know they need to be doing, and they're actually, honestly, pretty happy. I hope everybody's just sit back, relaxing, and taking it easy for what the rest of the day they have, and they're going to have a great day tomorrow. But that being said, I'm here. I've got more emails. I got more stuff going on. Just like everybody. Just another day in paradise, I guess. So there's that. So again, I hope everybody's doing good. If you want to jump on and send me a message or whatever, I got time for all those too. So it's no big deal. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. And we have honestly a lot of new emails to talk about too. So that being said, we have things in the barrel ready to go, but it's totally up to what everybody wants to do. So, I can deep dive and go straight into them, which I probably should do, but it's just a time thing now. You guys got me for the next 2 hours talking about the problems of the world, problems of the people, problems of politics, and whatever else tends to be in this genre of emails for today. It looks like there's going to be a whole bunch of everything, from laundry to boyfriends to whatever. It's all in here. But I guess we should go ahead and get things started and start talking and get things rolling. So why not? Here we go. Hey, Devin. I got a weird one for you. My boyfriend recently moved in, and ever since, my cat has been acting strange. She's always sitting in my lap, purring way more than she's always purring. She's always sitting in his lap, purring way more than normal, and even bringing him little gifts like toy mice. I swear she's trying to steal him. Is this normal for cat behavior, or is my feline plotting to replace me? How do I handle this without looking like I've lost my mind? First of all, it's a cat. Okay, here's the deal. You got a cat. Your cat just happens to like your boyfriend right now a little bit more. So there's that. If it's a cat. Now, I'm sure your boyfriend is very well aware if it's going to come between him or the cat's going to win. And meaning, if you're going to choose between one or the other, you're always going to choose the cat over your boyfriend. That's the reality. Your cat may have a preference right now, but he may be the flavor of the week, to be honest. That's really what it comes down to. But you just never know. If your cat is plotting to replace you, get ready, because you're about to lose your feline friend. But yeah, honestly, I don't know what else to say about that one. I mean, there's really nothing you can say. I mean, if your cat likes him more, then your cat just likes him more. Nothing you can do. All right. Hey, Devin, I recently moved out on my own, and discovered something shocking. I absolutely hate doing laundry. It's so boring. Is there any way to make laundry day more exciting, or at least bearable? Do you have any tips and tricks to how this dreadful chore is less painful? Here's the thing. Laundry day sucks. Doing laundry is always a bad thing. It's never fun. It's one of those things that it has to be done, and there's no way to make it any more bearable than it already is. I mean, there's really not much you can do. The only thing you can do is just get it over with as fast as possible. And even if that means if you're going to a laundromat and you're going to split your loads up into multiple machines, honestly, the main thing you need to split up is like in multiple dryers, because in multiple dryers you'll get it done that much faster. And then comes the dreaded part of just folding it. The reality is, laundry day is never a good day, but it has to be done. There's really no way around laundry day. It's just one of those things that, as an adult, it's that necessary evil that has to be done. And all I can say is wait till you have children. And wait till you have to do laundry for an entire rugby team. That's when life changes that much more drastically when it comes to doing laundry. So, yeah. Hey, Devin. I'm back in the dating game after a long after a long-term relationship ended, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I've tried dating apps with the whole swipe left, swipe right feel, like I'm shopping for groceries. How do I navigate dating in the digital world without feeling like I'm just another profile picture? Any advice would be appreciated. If you're in the dating world right now, I'm going to tell you, I do not envy anyone that's in the dating world. That is a horrible, struggling place to be, because the dating world is a place that I can honestly say I know very little about other than dating my wife. So I've dated my wife for 23 years. We've been married. We're doing all that cool stuff like that. But seriously, dating is, if you're trying to find somebody, you're the goal is to find them in the right spots, in the right places. And I can tell you, if you're looking for them in the world of if you're looking for dating advice and things like that in the world of just the apps, I can tell you I don't know much about that, and that's very frustrating and it's very hard, because you're taking people's word for it. You're taking people's ideas and how they're doing things. You're taking it all in account that they're actually telling the truth. And honestly, from what I've seen, most people don't tell the truth on their dating apps. So if most people aren't telling the truth on their dating apps, then how do you know what they're saying is actually legit and actually real? So yeah, so my recommendation is, if you want to get real in the dating world, then you need to go someplace not in the dating app world. I've always said it: go to Home Depot, go to Lowe's, go to Ace Hardware, go someplace where men will be that you may be interested in, because dating apps are just weird. I mean, they scare me. So, and I know that's not the answer that you may be looking for, but it's the answer I got for you. It's a little bit frightening, to be honest, but what do you do? It's just one of those things. It's like, okay, hey, we're going to just figure this out, and we're going to make sure everything is good to go and people are happy. So there's that. Yeah. It is most definitely a hard thing to do when it comes to dating. It's very hard to get in on those apps and believe in those apps. I mean, here's the thing. I was raised in the generation where you didn't get in the car with strangers, and now we're currently paying strangers to get in their car. And I know everybody's like, well, that's just because they do background checks. Look up the stories of people that have been, I'd say, that have been hurt or abused or even murdered from Uber and Lyft drivers. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. So all I can say is, I think my generation did it the right way, because we knew that that getting into cars with strangers was a bad thing, but apparently it's not anymore. So there's my advice on dating. I don't know. It's hard. I would not trust an app, but maybe go to church, find some friends that can introduce you to somebody. That'd be the best. That'd be probably the safest place to find a date. Stranger danger. Absolutely. Hey, Devin. My mom recently offered to babysit my dog while I was on vacation. Here's the catch. My mom has never had a pet in her life and thinks dogs are basically small humans. I'm terrified she'll feed him people food and let him sleep on her bed. He's definitely not allowed on beds. How do I politely tell her I don't trust her without hurting her feelings? What's stopping you from? Here's the thing: if your mom's volunteering to watch your dog so you can take a vacation, take her up on it, because I can tell you, when you have kids, it's going to be harder to get people to watch your babies then too, and you're going to have your date nights and your vacations are going to be next to minimal at that point. So when it comes to, if you're worried that she's going to, just tell her, don't feed the dog human food. And if the dog wants to sleep on her bed, let the dog sleep on her bed. So when the dog goes over to her house, the dog will be allowed to sleep on your mom's bed, but not your bed. So, that's the way I would look at it. Who cares? I mean, the thing is, it's just a dog. It's just a bed. And it's your time to get away. So if you want time to get away, take your time, get away, and just let your mom watch the bed, watch the dog. Now, if you don't want her to watch the dog, just tell her, say, hey, I've made other arrangements, and thank you for the offer. That's simple as that. I don't know why that seems very difficult these days, but just tell them straightforward and say, no, I think we've got it covered. Thank you. But if the other person and way doesn't follow through, thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, that's what I would do. Simple and easy. Hey, Devin, my boyfriend and I have been dating for almost a year, and things have been great, except for one thing: politics. I'm pretty middle of the road, but he's very vocal about his political views, and they're starting to cause tension between us. I'm not sure I want to argue about politics and candidates for the rest of my life. This is something we can work through. Is this something we can work through, or should I break up with him before it gets worse? You're going to break up your boyfriend because you're middle of the road and he's not middle of the road. People. Here's the thing. You said you've been together for a year and you're worried that politics is going to kill the whole situation. Sure, politics is probably one thing that could kill the situation, just like religion can kill relationships, and just not being on the same page of anything can kill a relationship. Obviously, in our current political scheme where we are right now, we are very much polarized on two different directions, to be honest. Where I think most people are kind of in the middle area, whether they lean a little bit right or a little bit left. Most people are down that middle area. There's very few people that are. I would say the media blows it up more than anything else, showing people being either far right or far left. I think that's just because they want us to be polarized. Now, if you love the guy and you want to stay together, then what you do, you just talk to him and tell him, hey, let's just don't talk politics. Or you can do the other thing and say, hey, guess what? Politics are just a blip in our life, and I think we'll be okay. We just don't need to argue over it. I mean, arguing over politics is a choice. You can choose to be angry at each other over talking over politics. That's literally a choice. It's dumb. I mean, I don't know why people argue politics. I will discuss politics, and I know if I'm right about something, I will stick to my guns, and that's it. And then I will just say, hey, we disagree on this subject, and so be it. But to break up with them because of that, I mean, that's on you. But it really depends on how rooted in your opinions you are, and when it comes to, because if anything, you sound just as far rooted in what you want to do as much as he is. So again, you can dump him, but then you need to just find someone that's going to be in the same lines as you are. But yeah. Hey, Devin, I never thought I'd be writing an email like this, but here I am. I just found out my spouse has been cheating on me, and I'm shocked, heartbroken, and honestly don't know what to do next. Do I confront them? Should I forgive them and try to make it work, or is this the end of the road? I could really use some advice. So here's the thing. When it comes to cheating in a relationship, you have basically two choices, but so do they. They also have two choices. One, you can forgive the person, but they have to be willing to actually change and stop doing what they're doing. Now, that's a choice that they have to make. Or the other choice is to split up and move on. Now, that is a sucky situation to be in, and I hope that people never ever have to deal with that. I mean, to have your spouse or to cheat on you, doesn't matter how long you've been married. I mean, I had a friend of mine. He got married down in Florida. He got married to this young lady. This has been years ago. They were married for just a few hours, and then she disappears. And while she had disappeared, she disappeared for like 4 or 5 hours, literally right after the wedding. They were supposed to be on their honeymoon, and she went out and she had slept with a bunch of guys. I don't know, she was one of those crazy ones. And I say one of those crazy ones, like literally, she was one of these crazy women, and she just went and had a big group rampage for the evening, and then she came back, talked to him about it, and they split up. Bella, ooh, terrible with names. One more choice. Have an open relationship and you both have fun, guilt-free. Here's the thing, and I've said it before. You may think an open relationship actually works, but I can tell you they don't work because eventually they break up. Anyone that thinks an open relationship actually it can work, they're lying to themselves. I mean, open relationships with your boyfriend and girlfriend, that just means you're not cheating. You're just saying, hey, we're going to be friends with other friends and have benefits with other benefits. But if you're in a marriage, your marriage, it can never ever be an open marriage because it's either you and your significant other, and that's it. But there's absolutely no way that an open relationship actually works. I think that's the thing that's the biggest falsity that most people think. They think that is a choice that can happen and it's awesome. But I'll tell you, it may work for a little bit, but jealousy will kick in because we're humans. Humans do what humans do. Rivers in the house, by the way, just so everybody knows. Across all platforms, I'm letting everybody know, Rivers in the house. But yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. You're thinking that an open relationship will work, but an open relationship will never work. It will never, ever work. There's no way. I know of people who have tried it and it never worked. I had people write in, talk about it, and it never works. It just does not work. And reason why it doesn't work is because you have expectations on both sides, and even though and then jealousy kicks in, and then those expectations change, and then when those expectations change, someone's going to get hurt and someone's going to be left out. So for people to say that that's actually a thing that can work, they're lying to themselves. So I mean, you're free to try it. I mean, you're human. You have your own abilities, your own opinions. You can do whatever you want, and you're perfectly welcome to try it. But my thing is, there is absolutely no way that an open relationship will work. So back to this poor lady, her spouse has been cheating. The reality is, you can forgive. I know people that have worked out their relationships when they forgive. Jealousy, River says, jealousy is inevitable, but self-control and trust is something you can work on. That is correct. If you're willing to forgive, you can work on that self-control and you can learn to trust someone again. It just takes time. It is always going to be a time thing. And you have to be open about what you do with your significant other. That's the reality. So yeah. I feel bad for you, man, but the fact that your spouse is cheating, and here's the thing: the reason cheating happens, the reason why relationships end is simple. It is because unspoken, unfulfilled expectations. It is. So if you're married for a long time, like I am, I'm married 23 years to a 10, and she's amazing. You have to communicate, and you have to have those. If you have any expectations in anything, in whether it's your bedroom life, whether it's in dinners or whatever, you have to talk about it. It is something that has to be said, and it has to be done on a regular basis. You have to communicate. You have to go on date nights. You have to spend time with each other. You just can't sit back and chill out and do whatever you want to do, because it doesn't work. That's the reality. So, yeah. It's crazy. We're in a crazy world. People do weird things and people do crazy things, and here we go. Anyway. So, yeah, your choice is simple. You can forgive them or you can move on. And that, as hard as that would be, to move on, sometimes, honestly, if you have the conversation and they're okay with where they are, even in the cheating, then you have to move on. There's no choice in the matter. And yes, it's going to hurt. But honestly, you deserve someone that's going to treat you just like you deserve to be treated. You deserve to be treated so well and need to be taken care of so well that it won't ever be a problem. You need to meet someone who can rise up to you, that equals to your expectations and to your and can fulfill up to your standards. If you are dating someone that's below your standards, then they're going to be below your standards. That's just how that works. So, I mean, you can try to forgive them. I know people that it has worked out and they did forgive them, and it's okay. So yeah. Hey Devin, I've been hit hard by the economy lately. Between student loans, rent, and car payments, I had to make some tough choices about my grocery budget. I'm down to eating instant ramen and chugging energy drinks most of the days. Do you have any budget-friendly meal ideas that won't break the bank for my health? Okay, here's the thing. You can get food way cheaper. You buy yourself some rice. If you can buy yourself some rice, then you actually are you're more likely to live easier and better, because rice is cheaper than ramen, and ramen's really bad for you. And I'd say don't even buy an energy drink, because energy drinks, those things are the money you would spend on an energy drink, it can buy you honestly within a couple of them you can buy yourself a good meal. I mean, you could eat out at a McDonald's for cheaper than you can buy an energy drink. So, and I'm not saying McDonald's is good. I'm just saying you could have more food than anything else. So yeah, you got you got to figure that one out. That's the hard part. Yeah, I would say for cheap budgets for food, sure, ramen, I guess. It's gross, but I guess. You can get rice, which is super cheap. You can go get you a big bag of rice for like $5. You can buy chicken. Chicken can be inexpensive. And buy chicken on the bone. Chicken on the bone is way cheaper than the boneless, skinless chicken. Yes, you have to pull the skin off. Yes, you have to take it off the bone. It's no big deal. Yeah, River says you can live off of rice for years. Some old Japanese soldiers in the Philippines survived 5 years off of rice. Rice is not bad, really. You can live off of rice very easily. I mean, there's tons of things you can do. I mean, if you need some protein in your diet, you can go buy some chicken. You can buy some discount beef. Ground beef can be cheap, but yeah. I mean, the reality is everything can be done simple and easy, and everything can work out. It just comes down to you have to figure out how much money you have and where you're going to put it. That's how it works. So, yeah. But as far as budget friendly, cut back on everything you can. I mean, figure out the right things that, honestly, to fix your budget, I wouldn't really skimp on food. Food keeps you alive. I'd go through your budget and figure out what you're spending too much money on. Again, it's like we've talked about how I don't buy Netflix, but 2 quarters in the year. Do that. Of course, if you're in school and you're doing this, then that means that you're probably, living off of not just that. You're actually probably living off of the fact that you're I need a different charger. Bring me a cube. Yeah. Yeah. If you're living off of that type of budget, you need to probably rethink your bills in general. I mean, honestly, see if you can get cheaper insurance on your car. If you're paying for, see if you can borrow someone's internet that's close by, and say, hey, I'll give you, instead of get a router booster and you can connect it to their internet if you're in like student dorms or whatever. The internet's free in student dorms anyway, I think. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. I would look at the money that you have going out first before anything else. So yeah. Anyway, what else we got here? Hey Devin, with the way things are going in the U.S. right now, I've been seriously considering immigrating to another country. The economy's tough, politics are crazy, and I feel like my quality of life could be better somewhere else. But it's a huge decision. Should I stay and try to make things work here, or start fresh from another country? Well, the thing with I asked my wife for a charger, and so I said I need a charger for a phone.
I bring him a charger.
She brings you this. Like, unfortunately, the phone that does not use this type of charger. Then she brings me, I said, okay, I've got this one. This will work. I just need a cube. So then she brings me a cube, but then that won't work. Then she brings me this, which is for USB, a micro USB, not for USB-C.
Let me go check. What do we need?
I need to charge that because it's like 2%.
Okay.
Yes.
Just a minute.
So, my wife is amazing, by the way. North Korea bound, River says. You know, the thing is, if you want to leave the country, you're going to leave one of the greatest countries in the world, okay? And to leave one of the greatest countries in the world, actually, if not the greatest country in the world, I don't know if we can say we're the greatest country in the world. I can say that because okay, for me to think about if we're the greatest country in the world, I have to sit back and think about our country, right? And if I'm going to be honest, sometimes you have to think about how we do things in our country. And when you start thinking about it, you're like, are we actually the bad guy? Because we aid and abet many countries and give all these different countries money. And while we're giving all these different countries all these different money, they take that money and they use it not in ways that they should be using it. Seriously, that's the scary part. That's the hard part. And so, I mean, I would not leave our country. I mean, I would go visit other countries. I think that's cool, but I wouldn't leave our country. I think that's kind of crazy to do. You know, move to Canada, River says, live in the Yukon territory and hunt Yukon moose and all the great animals. Big dream of mine. You know, honestly, that would not be a bad life. The thing is, the problem that I have with, you know, if we're talking politics, especially since that's, you know, this person's worried because our economy, how we're politically, we're getting crazy and all these different things.
These are Logan's.
I just need that.
Okay. Bring back his cube here
Yes.
then.
You know, my son told me the other day, he said, Dad, I think we should just move. We should move out of the country because things are getting really, really crazy. He's like, dude, they really want me to go off. The thing is, we have an amazing country. We have a lot of idiots running our country. And a lot of idiots, And a lot of idiots trying to run our country. So we're trying to be elected into running our country. Now, all that being said, we've got to be careful because what happens is, okay, so I'm a believer in freedom. I'm a believer in doing the things that are right. I'm a believer in doing things that will help our country be better. We have been set up and we have been given a gift, and that gift is simple. And the gift is the gift of being able to, you know, be free. We can say what we want. We can do what we want. And then I hear people in our politics talking about how we need to, it is the freedom of speech. This is John Kerry. He said freedom of speech is dangerous because it allows people to say whatever they want to say. Yeah, it does. We have the freedom to understand what we're doing right, and we have the freedom to understand that we can say things that are right, and we can understand we have the freedom to say things that are wrong. The issue is people need to know the difference, and they need to listen to the difference, and they need, don't just listen to the words that people say, listen to their actions and watch their actions, see their actions, see how they do things, because that is the key to any type of survival when it comes to politics. There we go. Sorry, had to get that plugged in. I don't care where anyone stands politically. Best amendment of all is the right to bear arms. Well, the thing is, the right to bear arms protects the right to say whatever you want to say. If you lose the Second Amendment, you lose the First Amendment. It will happen. If you lose the First Amendment, you're going to lose every right. And I can see how that's how politicians want it to go, because it gives them more power. The thing is, we are free. We don't have to have a government to tell us what we can do and how we can do things. We don't need to, what we'd have is we have a government to set rules for basic ways of living. Those basic ways of living are essentially means, hey, don't kill someone, don't steal somebody's stuff, don't do anything that's morally wrong. The difference is, the problem is that I've seen, not the difference, the problem that I've seen out of all arguments when it comes to anything about the Constitution is people do not ever want to admit that there is a moral right and then there's a moral wrong. We have a country that was founded upon freedom, and those freedoms were not given to us by the government. River says they want to abolish other branches and make the president the leader, almost like a monarchy, making it very communist. Reagan said it right himself, and I was talking to my wife about this. When we're talking about actually today, I said, Reagan said the biggest threat to our freedom in our country is communism. And honestly, it still is. If you look at all the things that people, the people that run a lot of our country, the leaders, they lie, they cheat, they steal, they do things that are only that they can do. They create laws to help them for personal gain. All that needs to be wiped clean. We were founded as a representative republic, and that's how we always should be. We elect representatives to represent us on the federal level, but each state is their own government and governing body. That's how that was done. That was literally how it's supposed to be. But we've strayed away from that. So my opinion is this for you: don't leave our country. Elect people that will be good, and you start locally and you work your way up. Elect people that can do the job that needs to be done, that will help bring in the right things into your state, into it federally. And honestly, a smaller federal government is the right way to go because it helps us be more secure. So don't go anywhere. Don't leave. Yes, things are tough, but if you elect the right people who believe in freedom, it will work out. The last thing we need is our ability to vote and all our rights being taken away. You're not wrong. I mean, the thing is, I didn't plan on talking about politics tonight, but the thing is, if we can, if our abilities in our country or our freedoms it is so easily shaken because people want free stuff. But when you realize that free stuff exists for you all the time, if you want to be free, get out of debt. If you have no debt, you are free to do whatever you want. What keeps you not free is being in debt. That is the simplest way to say it. We are literally a country of slaves because we're slaves to the things that we want. My wife and I were looking at another piece of property because we want to move and get out to Utah, and we want to live out in the country. And our goal is to be debt free, own our house, grow a garden, and we'll be able to provide free food for people that need it. We'll be able to sell some food for people who want to buy it, and it'll make it where people can get the things that they need. That's one reason I do this, is because every penny that I make off of the podcast and things like that, every penny of this actually goes to pay off our house, because we're going to buy a house and it's going to be all done with cash. If in order to be free, we need to get out of debt, then America is the big. You're not. So the thing is, that's why it's important to elect right officials. When our government talks about balancing the budget, if I balance my budget like our government balances their budget, then there'd never ever be any money I could ever borrow. Banks would look at me and laugh me out the window because our government's been in deficit spending for years. A balanced budget in real life means you're bringing in more income than you have going out. So if you're bringing in more income than you have going out, that is balanced. It's not the more going out and less coming in. That's the problem. We have our biggest issue in our country is we have a spending problem in our country, and we've allowed our government and our elected officials just to do it like it's rampant, like it's no big deal. That is the problem. So there we go. So I say, don't leave the country, stay here and do what's right, and let's make this a great country. To take the words out of Donald Trump, let's make this country great again. Really, I mean, we were a great country at one time, and we can be better, but right now we're kind of a mediocre country in reality. So I'll say it, and it's very sad to say. Never thought I'd see our country be where it is now compared to where it was when I was a kid. It is not the same place. I'll tell you that. And the people that are ruining it are our greedy elected officials, because they get in there and they get tempted with all that money that they can bring in. But whatever. All right. Oh, speaking of more stuff, here we go. Hey, Devin. It feels like every time I turn on the news, there's huge debate about guns. The Second Amendment, you call it, River. And whatever we should, and whether we should have stricter laws. My family is super pro-gun, and we argue about it all the time. I'm not against guns, but I also feel like we need some sort of balance. Why is this topic so divisive? And is there a middle ground people can agree on? The thing is, when it comes to the Second Amendment, and this is where I think everybody gets it wrong. I hear the far right saying one thing, I hear far left saying thing. River says, I don't care what happens. I am forever going to hunt, and I will never turn my guns in. Neither will my family. And neither should you, because our country was founded for that reason. Where that was the only reason we have guns is because we used the guns we had, and the reason we have the Second Amendment is because we used what we had to fight against England to get where we got. Yeah, I will keep my guns no matter what. I agree. The problem is, here's the middle ground. And this is the middle ground that no one wants to talk about. No one wants to discuss whatsoever. The problem is not guns. We have a heart problem. We have a problem where people do not do anything to make other people's lives better. When it comes to gun control, we have enough laws on the books. And people are like, well, you can buy guns across state lines. That is impossible. If you think that, you're wrong. And because I cannot go to my home state and buy a gun. It's impossible. I can't go to Georgia and I can't buy a gun because I do not have a driver's license. I am not from there anymore. Oh, I am from there, but I can't prove that I live there. You can only buy a gun in the state that you're in. Now, that being said, this whole part of the podcast is probably going to get banned on YouTube and probably on Instagram because they don't like these types of discussions, which is very sad. I'm already shadow banned for something I said earlier last week, but whatever. The thing is, we need to have more discussions. We need to be teaching about them in school. We need to be training kids how to do things in the schools to use them. They don't have to own one, but they need to know how they work. See, this is my little. This may be a little controversial, but I think AR style weapons need to be special license because they are misused than regular bolt action rifles. See, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. The thing is, and the reason I don't agree is because the wrong people are always going to get a hold of the guns, and the thing is, all they want to do is say we want to ban this type of gun, an AR style gun. I mean, sure, you can use it for hunting, but that's okay. But that particular style gun, if they can't get access to that gun, they're going to get access to something else. The bottom line is the bad guy will always get their hands on the wrong gun. The wrong gun happened in Nashville, and a friend of mine, their kids went to the school that was shot up. And the young lady that went in there, the insane part is we don't talk about the reasons why people are doing things. We talk about the tool. The tool is not the problem. The problem is the person and what they're on. Now, I was talking to a Army recruiter a few months back, and I asked him how recruiting was, and recruiting for them is very difficult right now. It's harder, and not for the reason that people think. And he told me that if anyone has been on any type of Antidepressant, they won't touch them. At least for like a year. I think they have to be off of it for a year before they can evaluate to take them in to start recruiting them, because the drugs that people are on, he says there's a direct correlation with almost every act of gun violence out there when it comes to like a mass shooting. They're those. If you look at the drugs that these people are on, it has a direct correlation of something to do with their brain, and so they do the wrong stuff. That was his words, not mine. So, that being said, we need to be rethinking the whole pharmaceutical deal. There are things, if people get depressed, they need to exercise more. I know it's not as simple as that, but majority of people who have depression, if they ate right, they killed out sugar, they did the things that they should be doing, and they exercised more, like actually did exercise, they'll notice the depression drops. Then if they're adding more vitamin D to their body, so getting out in the sun, they're taking vitamin D supplements, that changes things too. If you have happier people, then you will have less violence and things. Exercising does create a crap ton of dopamine, and it makes you happier. It does, and so that will solve a lot of, not all of it. I get it. It's not all depression can be solved that way, but it is a start. Instead of just prescribing everybody a drug, why don't we prescribe gyms? Why don't we prescribe actual real eating? When you learn that the food pyramid is one of the biggest lies we've ever been told in your life, then you start realizing things are better. Things can be better, because the food that they've been shoving down our throats and the things they've been shoving down our throats is literally killing people. My mom, she died needed a heart valve replacement, and part of her heart valve replacement was due to issues with the food that she had been eating, and part of that was because she was fed this lie that margarine was way better than butter. Butter will kill you. And if you're depressed, still work out and at least do something that's beneficial for your health. Yeah. It will help you no matter what. So, but going back to the whole gun issue, we need to train people more about them. We need to have the hard discussions. We need to have, I have a friend that was going through some stuff, and I went over to his house and I took the guns out of his house because he was getting in a group of he was in a downward slide of depression. We need to be people like that. We need to be taking care of our neighbors. We need to be doing the things that help them out in their times of need. We need to be aware of those that are around us, and we need to step in and be more community based versus me. I'm selfish. I'm going to be a jerk and do my own thing. That's what we need. That'll solve the problems. Yes, I know people do commit suicide. I know people do bad things. People will go shoot up schools and do all the horrific things that have been happening in our society. But that can all be fixed if we just step in just a little bit. Stop making laws. Let's be neighborly. Let's be community driven. Let's stop arguing over little dumb things that won't solve anything. By taking things away, by taking stuff away doesn't solve anything. Look at take other countries and their stabbing rates. It's pretty rough. Just because you say you think it'll change, it doesn't mean it changes. We have to change people, and to change people, we need to let people know that they're loved. That's the bottom line. We teach people, we educate people, and we let people show people that they're loved, and you'll see a huge difference in things in our society. That's how we change it. That's how you fix the whole arguing over gun deal. And then it wouldn't matter what kind of gun you have at your house, because you're going to use it. You're going to keep it locked away as you should. You're going to use it for the proper purposes that it should be used for, and that's for hunting or self-preservation. And that's it. I've owned guns all my life, and I've never once had them sneak out of the house to hurt anybody. So there you go. Hey, Devin, I've been watching a lot of Mr. Beast videos lately, and while I think he's cool how much he gives back, I can't help but wonder, is he really this generous, or is it all just a stunt for clicks and fame. What's your take on these big YouTubers doing charity work for views? The thing is, if someone's doing charity work just for the view, guess what? They still did charity work. They're still doing more than the average person out there. I've met Mr. Beast. I know who he is. I will say, and I mean this in the nicest way possible. Allergies. Didn't take my allergy medicine today. I will say this in the nicest way possible. Mr. Beast, Jimmy Donaldson, is probably he's one of the most awkward people I've ever been around, because he's a fascinating guy. I think he actually is a nice guy. I'll say that. But in the few minutes that I've met him and I've talked to him, it was one of those things that you could tell he's got a guard up, right? You could tell he's got this barrier between him and you. And the reason I think that exists is because when you do so much and you give away a lot of money, and yes, the money he gives away is all paid for. Like he's got a new TV show coming out. He's got some a bunch of new YouTube videos coming out, things like that. But it's all the thing. The thing is, when it comes to him, because he has a lot of money with anybody, take Elon Musk, any of those guys, anybody that's got a significant amount of money, when it comes to them, they have to put up a wall, because essentially everybody wants something from you. And so that would be why I think he's probably a little bit socially awkward, is because he has that barrier. You have to have a barrier between you and everybody else that wants something from you. So honestly, Mr. Beast is, again, the few minutes that I've talked with him, I've talked to his crew a little bit more than I've talked to the boys. I've talked to them more than I've talked to him. But it's just, and all of them have their own social awkwardness. I think part of the reason is they're the generation that grew up with phones and grew up with instead of just playing outside all the time. Now, I don't know all their backgrounds, so that they're being out there. But the reality is to be in that type of industry, you do have to have some quirks about you. And if there's some quirks about you, then it is what it is. I do think he is a charitable type of guy. I don't think that Mr. Beast is a bad guy. I really don't. People do go after him for a little bit, saying, well, you're doing charity work just for views. Well, who cares? That charity work and the views brings in more money, and that more money goes back into the charity deal, and so he's helping more people out. So honestly, what's it matter? He's literally doing more than everybody else. So, I know right now there's a lot of controversy going on with him. There's a Rosanna Pacino. She's got a beef about him, whatever. But I don't know. I think it's kind of crazy, the stuff that people are doing and saying, and he has put himself in the crosshairs because of the previous employees and things like that. And I think a lot of people are out for they're out for their 15 minutes of fame. But in general, I think he's probably one of the nicest guys I've ever met. And I do believe I don't think he's doing charity work just because he wants to do the view. I think he's doing it. I think that's part of what he's doing, but I don't think that's doing it just because of that. I think he's doing it because he realizes that people do need help. And wouldn't it be awesome? I'll say it this way. If he's doing it for the views, wouldn't it be awesome if all of us were that way? That we would all go in and spend a little extra money to help people in more in charity. Now, I'm not a believer in giving charities at the grocery store when they say, hey, would you like to round up to give money for this and that? Because whether it's true or not, I think it is true. Like if Target says, hey, would you like to donate any money to whatever charity it is? And you're like, sure, here's $5. From my understanding, those companies, and someone can correct me, and I'm okay with being corrected. It's nice, but to be corrected at some point, my understanding is those stores have already donated that money. They've already set aside and given all that money out. And when we give that money to the store, that's essentially they're just recouping that money. And then they keep flipping it. That's all they do. So they're not really donating it for you. They're just taking it in, and then they'll flip it later when they start asking for more money later. So that's why if I do any type of charity money donation, I always give it to the charity directly versus giving it to a third party to give it donated. So there's that. But yeah, overall, I think Jimmy's probably a nice guy. He is a nice guy, and he's doing it because he cares about people. So yeah. Here we go. Hey Devin, I've been a diehard baseball fan for years, and something's been bugging me. Pete Rose still isn't in the Hall of Fame because of his gambling scandal. Yet other players that have done worse offenses, steroids, DUIs, etc., are in there. Do you think Pete Rose should finally get his spot, or is his punishment fair? Okay, Pete Rose. I mean, I'm obviously a Braves fan, but I understand great players are great players, and Pete Rose was a great player. Now, I do have very strong opinions of this. I think Pete Rose, he just passed just recently. May he rest in peace. I think he should have been put into the Hall of Fame. And if they don't do it even now, if they still forget about him now, it is an injustice for the Baseball Hall of Fame. Pete Rose was an amazing player. He had some amazing things that he's done. He actually did the sport right. He didn't do anything that my opinion, that would justify him to be kicked out of it, especially when you have players that are, they've gone to the extreme and they've, pumped themselves full of steroids, or they've gotten DUIs, or even beat up their girlfriends, or even, honestly, some of them even still gamble. So there's players that are doing the same thing that Pete Rose did, and they're getting away with it. And they're in the Hall of Fame. So that being said, yes, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, and the Sports Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame should be ashamed of themselves for not putting him in there while he was alive. They should be ashamed of themselves. Man, these emails today are going back and forth between politics and everything else. This is pretty amazing. Got two more that are political, and then we got some relationship stuff. So, hey Devin. So I've been hearing a lot lately about about how Democrats are pushing the country towards socialism, or even communism. According to some people I know, I don't know how true any of this is, but it's starting to freak me out. Are Democrats really trying to bring communism to the U.S., or is this political fear-mongering? Okay. People really want to get me up and fired up, don't they? I will say it this way. I do know that the Democrats of today are not equal to the Democrats of, let's say, even Bill Clinton, or the Democrats of even before Clinton. I know Bill Clinton because he was president for me when I was younger a lot. But I know that Bill Clinton, technically, if you look at his political views, and being as a Democrat, his views of politics are pretty much right on what Republicans are now. I mean, it seems like both parties, and I've never been a party. I hate the whole we're not a two-party system. We believe it is, but we're not. But the fact that we're on that system and we're leaning that direction, both parties are leaning to the left. One's just speedily going to the left faster, where the other one's leaning to the left but going there slower. Again, I'll bring it up and I'll say it. I am 100% for our freedoms. I'm 100% for following the Constitution. And I think we need, before you can run for office, I think you should have to take a class and understand what the actual Constitution teaches. And if you veer off of that, then you should not have that position. That's plain and simple. Is our Constitution perfect? No. But it's the most perfect document that's been written as of many, many years. And it was, did our founding fathers think this could work the entire time? No, they knew it was an incredible experiment that could completely fail. They knew that. But the fact that they took a chance to do it, to try to give us the freedoms that we have, the freedoms that we all enjoy, the freedoms that I can travel anywhere I want to in this country, I can say whatever I want to, and within reason. And when I say within reason, I could say my freedom of speech is I'm free to say whatever I want, but I'm not free from the repercussions if I say something that is inflammatory. So if I call someone, say something about someone that's not true, they can sue me. It's true. That is just how that works. Now, that being said, I can still say it. I'm free to, honestly, I'm free to go down the street and I could punch someone. That's freedom, but I'm not free for the repercussions of someone punching me back or even worse. That's why there is a moral right and moral wrong. And I think that's what our biggest problem we have in this country. So I'm going to say yes, probably the Democrats are, I don't know if they're secretly communist, but I think they're pretty much leading that direction. And I don't trust a Democrat just like I don't trust a Republican. I trust Republicans a little bit more than Democrats, but I still wouldn't let either one of them babysit my kids. All right. I guess this will be the last political one because it's the last one on this page. I say on this page because I have multiple pages of emails. All right. Hey, Devin, I know the Constitution was written a long time ago, and the world has changed a lot since. Do you think it's still relevant today, or are we living in a set of outdated rules that need to be reworked for a modern world? Is it time for a serious revision? Tell me how to revise it. I hear people say stuff like this all the time. I do. And my question is, how should it be revised and in what way? And if you can revise it in the right way to keep us free, then let's revise it. If it doesn't change the freedoms that we have, then we can revise it. Or here's the crazy thought. Maybe we just follow it. If we actually followed it and we lived by it, and this goes across the whole board here, then think about what would actually happen. If our politicians actually followed the Constitution, stop trying to make amendments to change things to better their personal pockets, because I can tell you, if you look at every politician, what's the average payroll of? It's like $150,000 a year. How is it that many of them go into office broke and they get $150,000 a year in office, and then they're multimillionaires within a matter of at the end of 1 or 2 terms? That there alone tells you where the corruption is. They're truly not in this for us. They're in it for themselves. So to change it, we got to take the money out of politics. Because if there's no money in politics, then no one would want to do it. That's the reality. If I knew I was not going to get paid to do something, then why would I want to do it? But honestly, $150,000 a year is a lot of money. A person can live off of that. I mean, I have lived off of way less, and I currently do live off of way less. And that's with a family of 7, family of 5 right in the house right now. But yeah. So there you go. All right. Hey, Devin, I've been working as an artist for years, and I finally took the leap. I opened my own gallery. It's a dream to come true, but it's also a little terrifying. I'm learning that running a business is a whole different ballgame than creating art. Any advice on staying creative while also handling the not so creative side of things like marketing and financing? Anytime you start a business, anytime you do anything that you want to do that you love, it's going to be hard. It's got its own difficulties. I mean, look what I do for a living. This is what I do for a living. You guys are amazing. The brands and sponsors that support us, and even the help that from each and every one of you guys, that when you guys do stars, or you do, I think Instagram does stars, and diamonds or whatever on TikTok or whatever's on on all the different platforms, whether it's you pay a monthly service or whatever you do to help keep us going and me going doing this stuff. I seriously appreciate it. But there is that business side that I have to do, which is like the marketing, which means I've got to, take all like I'll do 2 hours of this stuff tonight. Then I'll take the 2 hours and I'll take that 2 hours and I'll upload it. And then I get it cut into pieces to share the little snippets, the sound bites to share. So people say, oh, that was kind of cool. I should share this. Or then the worst part of it is if I post a video, like for instance, we talked about guns earlier, then I get where other platforms, they disagree with even saying that word. And because I said that word, they ban my video. Although it didn't say anything wrong. I wasn't saying use it on somebody. I wasn't saying anything. I was just talking about the tool in itself. And so then they hurt my income. So I get it. I mean, the ins and outs of, because you want to stay creative and keep doing the creative and fun stuff. But the hard part is you have to, you can do all that, but you still have to do the business side. If all I had to do is just the fun stuff, man, I just do the fun stuff all the time. But then it comes down to the marketing and the financing and all these different things. That's the hard part. Actually, while we've been down here, my wife's been upstairs working on our other business and getting items listed on our website and getting updates on websites and things like that, just so people can purchase items that we sell. I mean, it's a huge, big, rollover in everything we do. So yes, my advice, just keep working. Don't let the business side make the creative side harder. Because if you just open this up, you deserve to be able to do the creative side also. Now, it is not easy. But it can work and it can be fun. But you just got to do it. I'm proud of you. I think that's awesome. The fact that you went in and you created a studio. That's freaking amazing. I mean, it is awesome. I mean, I wish I was talented when it came to art, but I'm not. So yeah. Hey Devin, I'm celebrating a big milestone. 1 year in therapy. It's been an emotional roller coaster, but I'm proud of the progress I've made. I'm more self-aware and learning to set boundaries in ways that I never thought I could. Just wanting to share this accomplishment because I know a lot of people don't talk about how hard it is to stick with therapy, but it's so worth it. With gratitude. Therapy Warrior. Dude, that is epic. Because, if you needed some help, I applaud you because you went and you got help when you needed it. Whether for your mental health. Mental health is so important. And, we don't focus enough on mental health. And I think that's why we have a lot of the things that happen in our country and things we do that happen to each other is because we tend to be more selfish and part of that selfishness is because we stay in our own heads all the time. It is good and it is nice to talk to people. And, the fact that you guys email me and tell me these things, that's part of therapy too. So, congratulations. And I will tell you, everybody that's out there who, if you're thinking that you may need some help, please reach out to someone. If you don't know who to reach out to, email me. I will steer you in the direction that you need to go. I will try to help as much as I can. I'm no therapist by any means. I'm just a dad that likes to talk. But if you need some help, I will find someone that's close to you that could help you. Because no one needs to feel like they're alone. Everybody needs to have the help that they need that gets them through their life. That's what needs to happen. That's how this works. Because we should be here for each other. Yeah. Dear Devin, this one's a Dear Devin, not a Hey Devin. Dear Devin, ever since I moved into my new house, everything has gone wrong. Pipes are bursting. Appliances are breaking. Random things keep falling apart. It's like this house is cursed. I'm starting to regret buying it. I don't believe in supernatural in the supernatural, but this thing is getting weird. How do I figure out if I'm just unlucky or if something strange is going on? Go watch that. It's like a movie's made. I want to say the movie was made like 1980s or whatever like that. It's called Money Pit. That's what it sounds like to me that you're going through. Your house is not cursed. It's not. I don't think there's supernatural atmospheres going on in there. I think you probably just bought an old house. I mean, you can talk to my wife. We bought a house back in Nashville years ago. The house was originally built in 1835, and it needed everything done to it. The back part of the house had sunk into the ground by like 18 inches, so we had to lift the back part of the house up. We had to put a brand new foundation in the back. We also had to go in and replumb it. We had to rewire the whole house. I mean, we had to do a ton of work. I mean, more work than most people would ever have to do. And so that's what it sounds like to me. You just got a house that just keeps falling apart. Everything's breaking. I mean, if it's an old house, then yes, it's going to be falling apart. But I will say this, give it some time, give it a little bit of spit and polish. It will be okay. It will work out. So it's just a house. It will come together when it needs. What else we got in here? Hey, Devin, I recently found out my family is involved in some illegal activity. Okay. Here we go. And now I don't know what to do. I love them, but I don't want to be dragged into whatever they are mixed up in. I'm scared that if I don't distance myself, I could get in trouble. But I also don't want to abandon them. How do I navigate this without betraying my family or risking my own future? I kind of want this story to be true. Okay, here's the thing. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I believe that almost every story that you guys send me, every question, every email, I want to say that they're all true. But your whole family's in illegal activity and you just found out? Well, okay, let's say they are. If you haven't been involved in it, then I think you'll be okay if you just distance yourself a little bit so you can keep family happy because you're around. But on the other side, you know, the thing you got to worry about, it depends on how deep they're in because you've seen all the movies and all the TV shows, you know, you don't turn on the family. So if you're not with them, you're against them, right? That's kind of the thinking. You know, if your family is literally in illegal things, you're gonna have to distance yourself because you will be drugged down with them. Now, you just gotta be honest. If your parents are involved, just say, hey, I just want to step away because I'm scared of this and I don't want to be part of it. And then they may be upset with you, but I mean, you gotta do it right and gotta do it safe. Because if you're not, you will go down. You will get, you know. You will have a high probability chance of going to jail. So to keep your own sanity, you should probably step away. I don't know what else to tell you. That's literally how it works. I mean, if they're doing that many bad things and it's illegal, if the cops been sniffing around, you're going to get yourself in trouble. But I don't know. I've gotten some doozies in here, but that's a new one. Okay, here we go. What is this for? What do you mean, what is this for? Solely woolly baby. I'm just reading emails. People send me emails and I answer them and I give them my opinions. I guess that's what we're talking about. So yeah. Okay, here we go. Got another one. You tell me what you think. What would you do? This one says, hey Devin, I've been with my partner for 3 years and I'm ready for us to move in together. But they don't seem interested. Every time I bring it up, they say they're not ready. And I'm starting to worry that they're not moving in the same direction. I love them, but I don't know how much longer I can wait. Is it time to give them an ultimatum, or should I just be patient and wait? I have strong opinions when it comes to moving in with people. I would say don't move in. I get it. That's what people do. People don't get really married anymore. They just move in and they just live their life that way. A lot of people do get married, but it seems like they want to test the waters out. Put their toes in just to make sure that the water's fine before they actually make the commitment of marriage. Well, the thing is, you make the commitment, you run with the commitment. So I'm going to say don't move in. But here's the thing. If they say they're not ready, you can't push it. You can't push them into something that they don't want to do. You never can. You can't push anyone into doing something they don't want to do, because if someone's not ready, then it's just going to be a miserable experience. You're going to be miserable. They're going to be miserable. So I would say wait it out. Now, you can give them an ultimatum. If you want to, what you could do is ask other questions. Again, it's about communication. So if you ask other questions and you say, is there anything that I'm doing or anything that would be holding you back for wanting to do this? And get to the bottom of the bottom line of it all. Because if someone's got some reservations about moving in, they're probably worried that it may not work out, or I dare say they may have someone else on the sidelines. I hope it's not that, but that is a possibility. Yeah. My opinion is don't stress, don't worry about it. If it's meant to be, it will happen. So there you go. That's my opinion. Hey, Devin, I attended a wedding recently and I ran into someone who looks exactly like me. I'm not talking about a slight resemblance. We could have been separated at birth. People were taking pictures of us like we were twins, and now I'm weirded out. We started talking, and our lives are eerily similar. Whew, man, reading is hard sometimes. I don't know why, but this encounter has thrown me into a mini identity crisis. Have you ever heard of something like this? Or am I overthinking this? Here's the thing. There are lots of people that look alike a lot like each other. Now, the question I would be asking is, if you didn't talk much, then the question would be, were you adopted? And I don't mean that to be rude. That's a legitimate question. If you were adopted, then you could have a twin sister or twin out there, or another relative that you look like. Because if you look at my kids look a lot like, I have a daughter that looks almost identical to my wife. She's just a younger version of my wife. And then all my boys, if you look at their baby pictures, they all look very, very similar. So if you are related, you can find out. Get a DNA test and get them, and buy one for them and have them do it. Find out if you are related, because then you'll have the answer to your question. It's the little things like that actually make, honestly, that's kind of a cool experience. The fact that you go in and you meet someone and you've talked with them, that's someone that you look alike. That's kind of cool. I know the only person I look like, especially when I look in the mirror, is my dad. I look in the mirror and I'm like, how are you doing, by the way? Hey. But yeah, if you went to a wedding and you met someone that's and you look alike, chalk it up as something pretty cool. That's what I would do. I'd say you're probably overthinking a little bit. Just live your life, be happy. But if you keep in touch with this person, you may find, even if you're not end up not being related, you got a doppelganger. So if you do like Rami Malek, he sent his twin brother to take he went in for his twin brother for his final exam because he knew he was going to fail. So do something like that. You guys could do things together. Maybe if you don't want to go, if you're tired of dating one girl, you give your date to your doppelganger and have them go do it. So there's that. All right. Hey, Devin, I've been at my job for a few years now, and things were great. They were. Got it. Until we got a new boss. From day one, it's like they've had it out for me. What advice do I give? I give whatever advice pops in my head. Most of my advice is I would say, well, as my hate mail has come in, I'm just generic old style advice. So there's that. I get some hate mail. I get some good mail. Most of my email's good. Most people send me good things. Most people, that's just basic questions, relationship questions. This one actually is about a job issue. So I can talk about most any subject there is. So I'm always willing to give any advice to anybody that wants something. No one has to follow my advice. That's the thing. I've had people say, well, you give horrible advice and you expect people to follow it. No, I never expect anyone to follow any of my advice. I just expect people, if you ask me a question, to listen to it. What about a toxic family? What do I do? Okay, tell me about it. What's the situation? Because everything is situational. And we can talk about, I'd rather talk about your thing because you're here right now. And I mean, if you want to go live with me, I'll put you on live and we'll talk about it face to face. That'd be kind of cool too. But it's totally up to you. You can type it all in, or you can go live with me and we can talk about it that way. I'm good either way. Violent. Oh, well, when it comes to violence, it is stressful. The thing is, I'm a big believer of not being involved in that. Meaning, not me being involved. Is if there's violence going on, then you need to be out. You need to find a safe place to go. And the hard part is when it depends on your age, that makes it difficult. Just with me and not younger two siblings. Okay, so I'm guessing your younger two siblings are probably, I don't know. Let's see. How old are you? I guess that's the question. How old are you? Because you have to be someplace safe, and age does matter. Because how bad? I hate to use the term how bad. Okay, you're 16. Wow, what kind of violence? Physical? Is like you're getting beat every day, or it's just verbal? Or because I do know teenagers a little bit. Okay. And I do know, and I'm not saying that you are overreacting, but I do know teenagers can overreact on certain things. Now, I'm not saying that's the case here. I'm just saying that's something that can happen because I have teenagers and they overreact on different things. And then we talk about it and we get it figured out. The hard part is only been hurt recently. Okay. I'm sorry, for one. Wow. Here's the thing. Being a parent is hard. Okay. Now, I'm not going to make excuses for the issue that's going on. But being a parent is very, very hard. Very, very stressful. Okay. Being a kid can be equally as hard. And if you're not in a good home situation, it becomes equally stressful, if not more, because one, being a kid, you typically depend upon your parents to provide for you in the things that you do. So that makes it like a catch-22. Being you're 16, you're really not old enough to just move out and leave. And if you did that, that can cause way more problems than what's going on, unless literally you're getting physically hurt all day long. Okay. And if that's happening, you may need to go talk to somebody about it. You go to your local police department, go something like that. Now, I understand you're scared. This is hard. It tears me up inside when I read stuff like this. The thing is, what you need to do, what you got to figure out, what are the triggers, okay? If you're living in a household where you have parents that are pretty narcissistic, or if they're stressed out all the time and they lash out because of the stress, there's a lot of different scenarios on how this can go. But with all that being said, you got to figure out what the triggers are, okay? And then until you can turn 18, you really can't go anywhere. Narcissistic, that's a good one. So you do not know what a narcissist is? Best way to do it is I will get the exact definition for you, and then see if I can do it. You probably can do it just as fast as I can, but narcissism, it's a term that can describe, basically what it says, as simple as this, a term that can describe a personality style or mental health condition. Now, a mental health condition that involves persistent patterns of exaggerating feelings of self-importance, a need for admiration, and lack of empathy. People with narcissistic personalities may have an unreasonable high sense of their own importance and may need excessive attention. Now, basically a narcissist, the easiest way to describe it is a person who's all about themselves. Like, if you have a problem, your problem's not as important as me. And then a lot of times the narcissist will say, if you have a problem, and then all of a sudden people start giving you more attention on that problem, then they'll figure out how to turn that problem into their problem, so then they can get that attention. And there is a lot of people out there like that. That's the hard part. But as a parent, I can tell you, raising kids is probably the hardest dang thing I have ever done. It's not easy. Okay. Now, knowing that, what I will tell you, this is homework that you need to do. If your mom is a narcissist, do you have a dad in the house? Is he the same way, or is he the opposite? Because you do need a sounding board, okay? And it is hard. Having a narcissistic parent is very difficult, and it's hard to do, and it's very hard to deal with. But there are ways you can get around it to keep the peace. Because he's kind of the same. Okay. Now, just follows mom. Okay. So what you have is they have a codependency issue, is what it is. He loves your mom, and he wants to be around your mom. And because he's around your mom, he loves your mom, and he wants to do things. My phone is going on timeout soon. If I leave soon. Okay. So I'll try to make this fast then. To make it easier for you, and you can jump on here later. And I do this every night, Monday through Saturday. So there's that. What I would do is this: look for the triggers that make them flip out at you, and try to avoid those triggers. When they ask you to do something, do it immediately. Okay, because this is about self-preservation. Okay, if a lot of times when there's two women in the house, and the mom is narcissistic, they look at the other female as being competition for them. Okay, although that shouldn't be that way, it's a competition thing. And so if you get more attention than she did, then it could actually backfire and hurt you, right? So just kind of stay under the radar. If you want to really school a narcissist, make things their idea. Okay. You make it where if there's something that needs to be done on your side, you make it their idea. Now, to navigate that, you have to know the person. Being it's your mom, you just got to look at the triggers of what makes her fly off the handle. Avoid those triggers, but don't try to challenge, because when you challenge a narcissist, that becomes a competition for them to try to take you on more. I'm so sorry that you have to deal with this. And honestly, being a parent is very, very difficult. I promise you, if you go deep dive into what a narcissist is, there's a lot of books in the library. Don't take them home because that would trigger some other stuff too. But go deep dive in that. If you learn what it is, and then you'll learn how to deal with it, especially at such a young age, and then you'll actually be able to learn to avoid those triggers and be there and just do, and then you'll be able to do the things that you're asked, but then you'll also be a good protection for your siblings. Sadly, that we are in a world that this is a thing that has to be like this. And I'm so sorry that you have to go through it. I mean, it tears me up. It really does. I've got 5 children, and I wish when I find kids that are in this type of situation, I wish I could just bring them in and make them in my own, but I can't. Sadly, this is a thing that you have to deal with, and you have to work with it. But the best thing you can do is not be triggered. Don't go to those triggers. You are, and that's the problem. You are the oldest. So the thing is, with being the oldest of 5 kids, you are the experimental child. And I mean that in a nice way. I've got an experimental child. We have 5 children too. And and I don't mean that in a rude way. It's like when you have your first kid, you as a parent, you don't know what the heck you're doing. But you learn, and it takes time. So what you just need to do is when they ask you to do something, just do it immediately. Okay? Don't argue. Don't ask questions. Just do it. If they say unload the dishes, doesn't matter what's going on, go unload those dishes, because then you'll avoid the trigger. And then just give them the respect. Even though you don't think they deserve the respect, give them the respect. Because it's, again, being you're only 16, this is about self-preservation. If things get worse, I will tell you. And if things get where it becomes where it's every day getting pain, hit, or whatever, you have to go talk to the authorities, okay? You have to. That is super important because your safety is important. It bothers me when I hear people that, and I find out that they're like a child is getting hurt. It makes no sense to me. It doesn't work. Now, there is a difference between discipline and beating. My children have been disciplined, but I don't beat my kids. There's different ways to do things. My kids, they get lots of fear of missing out, so we'll take things away. That's what we do. But I promise you, your parents do love you. They're just showing it in a weird, nasty, strange way. I promise you they do. And being you're the oldest, it is very hard to show the oldest that they love you. And it may sound weird, but it's true. I hate home, honestly. I don't really see the point of living if I'm stuck in this home. Don't go down that route, okay? That is the wrong way to go. The thing is, here's the thing. In many cases, you are acting as that void, as that protection for your siblings, okay? And if it's that bad, you have to talk to someone in the authorities. You have to talk to an authority. I don't know where you live. If I did, I'd talk to somebody for you. Talk to a school counselor. That would be probably one of the best things, and discuss things with them. I don't know where you live, but you gotta do what's right for you and for your siblings, okay? But never go down the route of saying, I don't want to be here. I don't see the point of living, because you are worth to be alive. You are someone who is worth love, needs love, needs to be cared about. You are 100% worth that. Now, whether they show it, that's on them. I promise you, there are people in there. You're going to meet people in your life as you get older that will love you, that will take care of you, and that will treat you with the respect that you deserve to have. But you're just 16, and you're stuck. Again, if it is that bad, you need to talk to somebody. Okay? And I mean that. The right thing is always going to be the right thing. And if you're not there, who's going to help your siblings? You guys need to band together and stick together. I'm sorry. I really am. What else can I help you with? I don't know. I don't even know if I've helped you that at all. The reality is being in having narcissistic parents is a hard place to be as a teenager, because a lot of times you are the competition because you get a lot of attention, especially if you perform well at school, then they want to make those school things about them, not about you. It should be about you. When it comes to school sports, when I go to one of my kids' sports games, it's not about me. It's about my kid. It's about what they're doing. It's about how their life is going and how they perform. I'm not that parent that gets mad when my kid does things like if I say you didn't do good at that game. I always tell my kids, if you perform to your best of ability, I'm not one to say that they didn't perform well. I always ask them, did you perform to your best of ability? And if the answer is no, then I'll say, okay, then you got next time. That's the hard part when it comes to anything in life. We have to, as a parent. So here's the thing: just as much as we're growing up as kids, just as much as we grow up, your parents are growing up just as fast. Okay, you're seeing your parents grow up just like they're seeing you grow up. Sadly, you're having to deal with some stuff that you should not have to deal with at your age. And I'm going to say it. Sometimes people get shitty parents. And it shouldn't be that way. They had you for a reason. They should do their part. And they should do their part to take care of you and make sure everything works out. Now, as a parent, you have to make choices. And sometimes the choices are, no, I can't get my kids the new Xbox or whatever, but that's a choice that way. Or it's all about when you have kids, it's about, you have to take care of your kids and you have to love them as much as they can, because they need to be filled. You need to feel loved. And I'm sorry that you're going through this, but I'll tell you, it will get better. As you learn to get away from the triggers that's triggering the stuff that's happening, it will get better. And sometimes you just got to go in and say, hey, I'm just going to do what I have to do to get through it. If you're 16, you got 2 more years, and then you can be out on your own. And that's going to bring up its own element of hardships too. All right, you have a wonderful night. Be safe, okay? Seriously, be safe. Honestly, guys, I really appreciate what people jumping in and asking questions. This young lady's going through a hard time right now. Yeah, that's it. 526 more days. Do the countdown. That's what it is. Do the countdown. And honestly, find something every day that makes you happy. This is a hard thing that you're going through, and I promise you, though, it will get better. Your life will get better. If you ever need to talk, I'm going to be, again, I do this all the time. Come in, join me anytime. And I'm actually going to put on, I've got a feed that's on some of these things. I need to put it on here too, on both Instagram and TikTok, where people can actually see the number to call in if they want to call in. So, yeah. But then honestly, messaging is just as good as anything else too. Yeah. Oh man, life is hard. But you know what? It will get better. Man. If you're a parent out there and you're going through some stuff, I get it. Being a parent is very difficult. Raising kids is very difficult. Having your kids live by the rules that you have in your house is very difficult. We got rules in my house, and those rules are simple. And when it comes to those rules, it's either you follow it or you don't. And if you don't follow the rules, then, we'll have words. And if we have to take things away, we'll take things away. Now, when you become the age of, I'd say, of an adult, and if you want to be treated like an adult, then you act like an adult. Especially if you still live at home. If you still live at home and you're an adult, the key thing, what you need to do is treat your parents with respect, follow the rules that they have in their house. They'll still treat you like an adult unless you want to choose differently. But being a parent is hard. But being a kid with crappy parents is just as hard, if not harder. Man. Gotta breathe. That's a rough one. My heart's breaking right now. You know, when you have a young lady jump in on a message, and messages me in a public forum and tells me that they're going through some hard things, it just kills me. Now, I don't know the full situation. There is two sides to a story here. And there always will be. But I can only take it as it is. Only take it at face value as it is. And we have a young lady here who is hurting. And when you're hurting like that, what you need to know is that people love you. And I'm pretty sure her parents do love her, but they just show it in a weird, strange way. And then, parents go through things too, and it's hard. It's just very hard. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Devin. I've been at my job for a few years now, and things are great until we got a new boss. From day one, it's like they've had it out for me. I've never done anything wrong, and I have a solid track record at work. But now I feel like I'm walking on eggshells. I don't want to quit, but I also don't want to be bullied at my job. How do I deal with a boss who seems to have a personal vendetta? When it comes to business and it comes to work and it comes to jobs, the way most jobs should be ran is by performance. So if you're doing everything you can performance-wise, you're doing the right thing. You're doing your job. Now, the new boss could be like my old boss I used to have. Years ago, I had a boss he came in and he took over the position and he was in charge of all sales. Although my sales were good, actually were great, to be honest, because I didn't live in the city that they lived in, he tried to find, and he did eventually find, a way to get rid of me. I actually pulled in a client that could have could have purchased, I would say, easily 30, 40, 50, up to actually their credit rating was, I could sell them over $100 million worth of product a month, and they would still be good. But he ended up getting a personal vendetta against me because I didn't do things his way. He wanted me just to go in for the quick sale and get out. Where my idea was go in, get to know who they are, learn their business, learn who their family was. Because if I knew who my client was, then I knew for sure that I could make the sale. Because it always comes down to information. And when you get more information, the better the information you have, the better the sale will be. And if people trust you, they will buy it. So if you're getting bullied and you're having to walk around on eggshells, then you're having to deal with the same stuff that I've had to deal with. And I can tell you, it's a sucky thing. So what I would do, and this is my personal opinion, if they've got a personal vendetta against you, brush up your resume. You've been at the job for a few years. You've got a good track record. Start looking, because if they've got a vendetta against you, there's nothing that you can do that's going to change the fact that they're going to probably eventually get rid of you. That's the reality. So, get your resume cleaned up, start applying at places, build yourself up, use the skills that you have learned in the past few years of working there to make yourself a better person and make it where you can have a better job. Because honestly, it's the job market. It can be good right now. Some places not so much, but some places, yeah, because you have the opportunity to actually better yourself and actually get a higher pay raise. Yeah. That's what I would do, because they're looking for a reason to get rid of you. Hey, Devin. I came home early the other day and found my wife cosplaying. Okay. She's been secretly dressing up as characters from her favorite anime, and even have the whole closet of costumes I didn't know about. At first, I was shocked, but now I'm thinking it's kind of cool. They're super embarrassed and won't talk about it. How do I bring it up and let them know I'm actually supportive? Here's the thing: if your wife is dressing up just for fun, honestly, you need to tell her, "Hey, I caught you doing that, and I think it's kind of cool. Why do you do it?" Now, they may be doing it for monetary reasons and doing it on like OnlyFans or doing it on something like that. I don't know. Now, that's a different question to have that's a different conversation to have. But tell them, say, "Hey, you know what? When you were dressed like that, I thought you looked cute." Tell them, have the conversation, deal with it, talk about it. Because honestly, if you don't tell them, they'll never know. And if they're embarrassed by it, oh, what was that? I don't like that. Turn that off. Yeah. If they're embarrassed by it, let them know they shouldn't be embarrassed by it. You thought it was kind of cool. And then you get deep dive into the conversation. Again, you just got to talk about it. Conversations are how we solve problems. Getting to know the situation, talking to people, and figuring out what they have going on. That changes everything. But overall, it'll be okay. Again, just have the conversation. Hey, Devin, my partner and I are expecting our first baby in a few months. Congratulations, by the way. And while I'm excited, I'm also freaked out, as you should be. What if I'm not a good parent? What if I mess this kid up for life? Everyone keeps telling me it'll come naturally, but I can't help worry about all the things that could go wrong. How do I calm these nerves and just enjoy the journey? Here's the thing. Being a new parent is terrifying. Because I can tell you one thing, you don't know what you're doing at all. It is the hardest thing you'll ever have to figure out, and it will work out. You just have to figure it out. And honestly, when everybody tells you that it will come naturally, it will. And if you came from a good family, if you come from good stock and you came from that amazing family, the reality is you can always call your mom. You can always call your dad. You can always call your siblings or whoever's there available to you, and say, "Hey, I don't know how to do this particular thing." And honestly, they'll help you. Because, as scary as it may seem right now, once that baby's in your arms, it is so weird. It is so odd. You will figure it out. With our first child, our oldest, we had the baby bottles because my wife couldn't breastfeed with our first one. And so we ended up bottle feeding, which is fine. It's no big deal. Really. It's not that big of a deal. Some people argue with that all day long, and it really is no big deal. Okay. Now, that being said, with our first one, we didn't know she wouldn't get enough food. So she used the bottle, and she'd suck on the bottle, and then she'd fall asleep. Then she'd wake up an hour later, crying, screaming. She was hungry. We didn't know that. We didn't know she was hungry. And so we'd feed her some more. And we try to put all our kids on a schedule, because without a schedule, your life becomes miserable, and you need a schedule. You need to know that you can have a schedule, because the baby's got a schedule, so you can get sleep. And my wife is a trooper. She handled most of that herself, and she's amazing. Okay, my wife is by far probably the best person you'd ever meet in your life, and it's beyond amazing. Now, we didn't know that our oldest Paris was not getting enough food. And so she was getting enough to sustain life, and her weight would stay the same. She wasn't really gaining weight. And so we talked to a couple of people, talked to my mom, and they said, well, put some of the oatmeal stuff inside their baby formula. So we did that. Talked to pediatrician, and we did that. And she would fall asleep. Now, we didn't realize that the little hole at the top of the nipple was not big enough. And it took us, a couple of months sadly to say, it took us a couple of months to figure out that we needed to put a little slice in the top. Now, don't do this unless you see a problem. Talk to people about all this. So we put a little slice in the top of the nipple. From that day forward, she changed. She was getting plenty of food. Things were working out like it should, and it worked out. And she was a whole different child. No more crying, no more fits. We were the most amazing parents that ever lived. She's our first child, our experimental child. If you got your oldest child is your experimental child, because you don't know what you're doing. But I'll tell you what, if you're nervous about being a parent, that tells me you're probably going to be an amazing parent. You're going to be there for the kid. You're going to be there to take care of the kid, and you're going to do the things that will help that kid in its life. You'll be fine. Everybody tells you it's going to come naturally. Believe them, because it will come naturally. Only thing I will tell you advice-wise when it comes to having a kid, once they start sleeping at night, will be amazing for you. But get them on a schedule, a sleep schedule, and a eating schedule. And if you can do those two things, your life will be amazing, and you'll be able to get more sleep like you need and like you deserve. It will be awesome. I promise you that. So let the nerves be there, but to understand, you got this. You got this. Hey, Devin, a few months ago, I performed the Heimlich maneuver on someone at a restaurant, saving their life. At first, I was proud of myself, but now this person has become obsessed. They keep texting me every day, thanking me, offering to buy me gifts, and even inviting me to their family's gatherings. It's starting to get uncomfortable. How do I gently tell them that I'm not looking for a lifelong friendship just because I saved their life? Okay, here's the thing. I get it. You did the right thing. You did something amazing. You helped. You saved someone. You're a hero. Okay, you literally are a hero. You saved someone from choking to death. Now, accept the gratitude. What I would do is go to a couple of things, or you don't have to let them buy you some stuff, but if they invite you to a birthday party, show up, do a gift, but then also tell them, say, hey, I can't really be everything you want, and you're free to text me all the time, but I can't always respond back as fast as possible. Some days I may not be able to respond back, but you are a core memory for this person, because you literally helped them live. So don't ruin that just because you're probably like me. You're more of an introvert than you are an extrovert, but you jumped into action when action needed to be jumped in, and you took care of it. So what I would do, honestly, do the nice thing, be kind about it, but explain that, tell them that you need just a little bit of space because your life is busy, and just have the conversation with them and say, you know what, I'm glad that I was there to help you. I'm glad I could help you. I can't always be there for you. Can't go to all the activities, and I appreciate you inviting me to everything. It means a lot to me. That's what you do. Just tell them. Because honestly, you have created a lifelong friend. No matter whether you want it or not, you have a lifelong friend, and they're going to be there for you, even if you don't need them or you need them or whatever. They will be there for you. So why ruin a good thing? That's my opinion. Don't ruin a good thing. It will be okay. Hey, Devin, I recently got a promotion at work, and now I'm making more money than my husband. I was excited, but it's clearly bothering him, even though he won't admit it. I've tried to talk about it, but he gets defensive. I love him, and I don't want money to become the issue in our relationship. How do I navigate this without letting it affect our marriage? Okay, here's the thing. It is a true fact that when women typically make more money than their spouses, that they get divorced. It's not every case, but there is a high percentage of women that when they make more money than their spouses, then what happens? Now, obviously, this is not necessarily the problem. It could be the problem, could be a problem in the future. But what you got to look at to navigate this, you need to make him feel comfortable, because he probably understands this statistic that when a person gets a wife makes more money than they do, then there becomes that fear of, well, she's going to be gone now. And because she's going to be gone, what do? I love her. That could be part of the problem here. Now, it may not be part of the problem. He could just have a pride thing. He always want to be the breadwinner for the family. Now, that is a pride issue on his side. The only thing I can think of that you can do, don't even talk about the money. If you guys have a joint bank account, let all the money go into the joint bank account and let it be. Don't even split up the bills any differently unless he asks you to. If you're making that much more than him and say you guys are splitting the bills, if he says, hey, can you do this on this? Then do that. Don't let the more excess of money change of who you guys are. All he needs to know is that you love him. I'll say it, and I've said it all the time. Men need 3 things. They need bedroom stuff, they need food, and they need respect and conversation. Those 2 are the same. Conversation goes with respect because that's what they want. As long as he's getting those 3 things, you guys will be fine. I think you're maybe overthinking it, and he may be overthinking it too, but as long as you're giving those 3 things to him, he will not worry. It will be fine. If you're making time for each other, everything will work out. So don't stress. Honestly, life's too short to stress about things like that. So take your money, go on a nice trip, spend time with each other, do what's right, do what makes you happy, and everything will be fine. Anyway, I appreciate all the emails. I appreciate everybody, the comments. Miss Abigail, I hope your situation gets better, and I'm sorry that you're going through it. You ever need more advice or just want to talk, I'm going to be here. Okay? You're not online right now, but if you do see this later on, just remember I am here. I appreciate all you guys. I love everything that you guys do for me. Allow me to give sometimes unwanted advice. But then again, I appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful evening, and I'll talk to you guys later.